So status. Don't think we merged anything. We didn't, but apparently someone is back. Benedek. Merge branch into, okay, issue updating, so I assume it's dynamic compilation. Some work on dynamic compilation. Okay. So he's back. So there's some progress on that. Good. Okay. And that's it on Orchard 1, Orchard 2, Orchard Core. Orchard Core, and I will clone the dev branch. This way I will be on the top. Okay, the dev branch is on the left side, and if I look back 7 days, refactor the workflow, store API using specification pattern. I commented on this one. I'm waiting for the comment on my comment. So what do we have here? Fix for each task to store loop variable name. Storing the loop variable name, because apparently you need that. Osiaman is not here. Nope. This fixing logging in migrations. Yes, there was a bug. Who got that? I think it was Rob who got that. There was an issue in the exception here. Where was it? There was an ref in the catch, so we could not even see what the exception was. So, oh yes, here. No, the log error, it doesn't want this kind of oh, there was a string format. I don't remember what it was. Oh, maybe below. Okay. Yeah, it was a T call which doesn't accept named parameter but index-based parameters. So this thing was failing, so we could not see actually what was the exception during migration. So I fixed that. We just need to log an error with the exception. Don't need to translate it. And I did the same thing above because there was the same issue or a related issue. Yep. So now we can see the actual exception in the migration. Jasmine upgraded to the new NodaTime because it's better. New net standard 2.0 target. I learned something today. What I learned is if you are targeting a net standard which is lower than 2.0, you can still also target net standard 2.0, and you should. And I didn't know you should actually. I thought that by targeting net standard 1.3, well, I thought it will work for anything up to net standard 1.3. So a net standard 2.0 library can point to a net standard 1.3, for instance. But it's better to provide two of them, because if the library that uses your library is targeting net standard 2.0, then it will not need all the references that this one will link to. So that's still better. So I need to change some of my libraries to do that. So if NodaTime is now targeting net standard 2.0, then that's a good reason to update to that, because we won't have to embed all the dependencies that this target would have had us to embed otherwise. So that's good. Yeah, and that's actually what you explained, but that's not what I understood from the explanation. So that's good. Thank you. So you can actually target the two of them if you want. That's the idea. That's better than just targeting the lowest one, which I didn't know. HTTP response activity, that's a new activity. So you can alter the response from the workflow instance. So that's good. That's good. And controller. Documentation, create a theme. So Antoine made a new section, how to create a new theme. At least scaffold it. Create a new theme project. And I did the reference to the talk. If the setup phase revert back to uninitialized state, apparently, yeah, so we can retry to set up the tenant if there is an issue. Good job, Jean-Thierry. Create Lucene directory by lock, and the fixed, well, he removed some code which was duplicated. This code was already somewhere, and he also defined a constant for the analyzer, which is better than just hard coding it everywhere. That's good. Field editors, we demoed it last week and now it's merged. We fixed the collision that could happen if you had multiple editors with the same name, the same properties. So this is fixed now, and this is fixed by having the main field or content part field definition driver be prefixed by the type of the field. So now that's good. The type of the driver, sorry. So field editors are in, and we are seeing already Jasmin doing some stuff with it, so that's good. Remove ThemingFileProvider and setup cleanup, so apparently removing this thing which was not necessary. It was forcing the razor page, but it was not necessary because we have it in all the view imports and it was adding issues in some other context. He also enabled this thing, treat warnings as errors on the main web app to be sure that we are not missing anything important, removing dependencies that are not required anymore, and that's good. Making request localization options configurable. Yes, we were initializing a new options object, but by resolving it, we allow any module to update its instance and change the default request localization options, like where to get the current culture from, cookies, URL, whatever. And you can add more or remove some and reorder them. So that's the correct pattern with options. This has been merged. So fix the agency theme FlowPart alignments from Jasmin, because we were not having where is the file? Flow.css, yes. Oh, not this one. Widget.css. Yeah, when we did a demo 2 weeks ago, when I tried to show the flow page with the agency, it was not working because the theme didn't support the classes for the flow widgets. That will state how big a widget is, and is it aligned on the left, on the right, in the center. So this is the part that is required on the theme to support this. Okay. So these are the default classes that are generated by the FlowPart. You can either change how the FlowPart renders the things, but it's better to just handle what the classes are and convert them to Bootstrap if you are using Bootstrap. Okay, That's what was missing, and you also fixed some issues with the original theme from the agency template. Using standard MVC call, so we used to copy the code from the AddMvc method call inside our application, but that means that by duplicating a class, we were losing the changes that they made on this class in the MVC repo. And they made a change that fixed an issue, which we didn't get. So I changed that, and now we are calling AddMvc again. So this is less prone to errors. The main difference, I also set compatibility version to the latest. The idea it will use the latest features of MVC and not be compatible with all versions. For instance, routing, which in the latest version is much faster for simple routes. So this will improve perf when you have controller actions by at least 10% of throughput. Yep. Okay. This is a branch refactoring the background tasks. What we have here, this has been merged, so we'll see it on the left branch. This is Nick working on GraphQL. Okay, so Antoine updated all the references to the latest ones, 2.1.3. When there are new packages. Yep, it's good, and also these ones, the newer versions. That's good. Title dependency, this was merged later. Let's see. So this one, add missing dependency on modules using IContentDefinitionManager. Yes, so if you are having modules with migration that use IContentDefinitionManager, this interface is registered only with the content types module. And so Antoine was right, I was wrong, but I still pulled his PR, which is that I asked him to use contents and not content types, even though it should be content types, but that's fine. Contents will also work, I think so. Yeah, I assume contents requires content types, so that will work.
Content types requires contents.
So how does this thing fix the issue?
Because if you use IContentDefinitionManager, it is resolved in the startup of contents.
Oh, contents. Okay, so that's why we need contents. Okay, so that's good. So that's contents. That's weird. Oh, the content types module is just to administrate the content types from the UI. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I wrote these, but I don't remember. That's okay. Thank you. So that's good. So that's fixing. So yeah, if you were to use the SAS recipe and then just reference, let's say, liquid or title part, then title module, then it will fail because it will not have the correct dependency graph. Site settings deployment step. So Antoine is doing more features now. So this one is to add, so we have an issue of referencing all the missing deployment steps and all recipe steps. And one by one we see like Siaman created one, we'll see that later. No, it's not yet merged. We have Antoine who made the site settings, and with an interesting twist, which is that you can configure which settings you want to export, which is nice. So you see culture, max page count, site name, everything. So you can export that now. And from what I saw in the edit file, it shows a checkbox for each of the properties. I almost commented on that because it's using reflection to list all the properties. That's okay, that's fine, that will work. It's not super user-friendly because you don't have the nice explanation of what each property is, but that does the job, and that's very sufficient for now. That's better than anything we have, so that's good. And then this is to display the deployment step. So that's a good deployment step. We're still missing 3 or 4 of them. I assume you made fixes that. I try not to let anyone close this issue because it's just part of the issue. I will just open it to show everyone. Orchard core issues. So site settings. Oh, someone check the checkbox. Who did that? Antoine. Site settings. Home route is done. Oh, it's the same settings. Okay. We still need to be able to export workflows, but Siaman has a PR for that, and it should be merged this week because I just made a comment and I think he reacted to that. And then the last but not the least, assets, to be able to export specific folders or media items directly. By the way, when we export the content, if a content has a media field, maybe the media field should also export the media it's linked to. Okay, we should look at it. Did I miss anything? Thank you. That's good. It's almost done. Then back here, what do we have? Chantieri, background tasks, setup, better place. Okay, I didn't see this PR yet, so okay. This one has been merged. Use Lucene options in place of using the module startup configure. So there was an issue with this thing. Configure, which was doing get required. Yeah. In the configure call, we will resolve a service to change some properties, and it's better to use option to configure option so that this call is actually called in the correct step, and not when configure is called. So it's like a lazy initialization. When the options will be resolved, then this thing will be configured. I'm not sure we need that. Yeah, for the options, yeah, maybe the options. Okay. And the new class Lucene options. Okay, that's good. And for the PRs, this one I saw. This one is done. This one is done. In GraphQL, much changes. So Nick is back on GraphQL and fixing the things using the latest version. And I didn't see the actual changes. Elias part. Where is the change about how it works? Is there any? Maybe not in this change. But there are lots of updates on GraphQL, so that's good. I look at it. Questions? Okay, demos, topics, let's see. Demos, what do we have from last week? Nothing here. Filters we saw last week. FlowPart, just a fix. Now it works. There is not much things to demo. Deployment step is fine. Okay, good. I don't think there is any demo. We can just jump to topics. So there are these things, also the meeting we can talk about. So content tree. So Matthias, do you want to show what you've done, or do you want to keep it private? Because we can at least talk about it and see what people think about how it's supposed to work and how it will work.
I could do a small demo.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's very incomplete.
That's fine. Even Orchard is incomplete.
Okay.
Just to trigger the discussion and to see what people have to say about it.
Okay.
So last time we met together, you showed me the Vue.js version, and we talked about integrating it into the main navigation instead, because it was weird to have two different navigations. And also the way it was working meant that we only had one kind of view for the result. And everyone can see.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. What I have done is a new module. It's called content tree, and it enables these three menus. This one on the settings, and it changes the way the content shows its items. Here I can add presets that will define how the content must to show their items. Now in Zenpip, I can add different node types. It's very similar to the deployment module.
That's good. To many modules, many things are using the same thing. The menu management, the workflow, everything. That's good.
The simplest one is this link tree. It's very similar to the link.
That's good.
Menu item.
People have asked for it already.
Yes, it's here. And now I have my content preset. If I go to settings, I can select the preset I want to use. So I can have several of them. And now the content displays the menus I have in my preset.
Beautiful.
Okay. And just to validate the pattern, I developed a couple of small modules. This one is difficult, so I left for the future. And I have this one where I can select what types of content items I want to show. Now I have this one here. If I click, I merged my branch.
Okay.
Because in my branch I have this, it handles the query string. So in the link I add a query string.
Yeah, this when a specific entry in the content tree requires a specific page, the implementation should come with the same feature as the content tree step or item. Because each content tree item can come with their own pages. I mean, that's fine. Or I mean, controller action to display the result of what you clicked here, and that makes sense. That's good. Like it.
Now this is the list one.
So the only thing I think is
Yes.
too much is the fact that you can have multiple presets. That seems weird.
I think that maybe in the future we can use it for example, show different content trees for different users.
Yeah, but then they will be dynamically enabled or disabled, like per user. But then, I mean, then each user will pick up from the list that are existing, and I want this one, I want this one.
Yeah.
That's what I would have thought that maybe users could configure it instead of. I don't know. That's weird.
And one more advantage of this approach is that you can have one menu preset on production and while you work on draft, and you can switch when you are ready. And this is the list one. This one handles one issue that is open about the difficulty of getting to the blog. This kind of tree node will.
So why doesn't the blog appear under lists? It seems to be at the same level. That's weird. Or maybe it's an issue with the menu.
It retrieves all the content types that have a list on it.
But why do you have blog and blog? Why do you have two entries in the menu? I see blog and I see blog.
For blog, maybe there is no point on having.
Or is it? Oh, I see. It's the content type and then the name of the content item. I see. I'm confused. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have content types with a list part.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it's a
see.
blog. Maybe it is a football team.
I see. That's called channels in some other blogging engines. Channels. Yeah. Okay. And there are many improvements to do based on each. But well, and also it depends on each user. Like personally, I would like to have the blog directly in the under content. Not under list blog, but just blog. And then I can use the link URL you said, or I could have a custom preset which is the list of lists, and I just click the ones I want to see at the top level, or maybe an option on the preset to say show it at the top level. We can add checkboxes to the presets if we want. Okay, but that's good. That's already very nice, I think. And we could also add the icons if we want. That's just an option.
Yes. We are reusing, as you know, we are reusing what we have, so we could add a class.
That's the idea.
Class to the.
Yep. Good. Jasmine, what do you think?
I think it's looking nice. Your comments were right about the fact that maybe blog should be directly in content, but yeah.
That's just a sample. We can change that.
I'm trying to see how I will use that. For now, I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, but it's really nice.
I think we should. And the modules today they provide admin menu items. Okay, they have the menu provider, the navigation providers, and they, we could have the list module already add things like add presets to the default preset list. So when you enable the list module, automatically you don't have to configure it. You can, after the fact, change the configuration, but we can have a default set of presets that will build the content tree automatically based on base usage. And this way we don't have to change that if we don't want to.
Yeah, for a blog it will be different.
As I said, my personal preference is that all the lists should appear at the first level under content. So when I click content, I see my blog and I can click on that. And if I have news items, which is also a list, I can just click on news items. But that's a personal preference. Maybe we'll do that by default. As long as we can also customize it, that's even better. So
I think it will be easy to say, to do something like this. I can grab this URL and you simply.
Yeah, that's a way to do that, but it's better if the preset itself, you can just check, okay, I want to see that at the top, and it will do it for you, because it will change on everything. Like if I create a new list, maybe I want it to be seen. Yeah, that's fine. You have the infrastructure, and then the presets, they can be changed and they can be added. Yeah, we can do many things. The same way, based on my experience with the deployment steps, you have today all content types and content types deployment presets. We should just
Yes.
have one which has a checkbox which says all content
Yes.
types, and otherwise, if you don't check this one, you select the ones you want.
Exactly. Yes, it's better.
Then you also add them always under content. Maybe it will make sense to be able to add them where we want. Or I don't know, should it be under content? Like, could we make it generic and not just a content tree, but just...
Yes. While I was working on this, I realized that we could use this approach for all the admin menu.
Yeah,
all the
what
content.
what does it save in the database? Is it JSON that just lists
my presets? Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
So when we render the navigation, there will be a navigation provider that will look for the presets and add more things to the navigation tree.
I like that.
So the idea was really to reuse to reuse what we have already. Is that that's a tree navigation? Okay, that's a new thing that you are wrapping from a navigation provider. Okay.
This one is the one who builds the menu. It gets the builder and it builds the menu. So here we have this. This is the way we used to add admin menus. And in the content tree module, I have this additional line. And this line is the entry point for the content tree. It calls to this service. This service will iterate over all the three nodes that are in my default presets. And for each node, it will call the build navigation. For example, in the link, it will call this method.
Yeah, I'm not sure we need multiple presets. I could see that we have presets for the site, and there is a role to be able to change the presets, and then we could have another feature which is user presets that will add more presets, but for the user, and that should be. And the user preset is it's optional. We could do it later.
Yes, there are scenarios that we can think about them now. For example, I think that maybe we could have a secondary admin menu here, one for the content, one for the configuration, maybe, and maybe one of these secondary admins can be getting items from one different content tree. I think that having the ability to have several content tree presets is useful.
Yeah.
Maybe not now, but
so yeah, you made the extensibility with the presets, but sometimes extensibility is against usability. Like for a simple change, I need to create a preset to select it, and that might be more complex than just what people need. I don't know.
Yes, having simply this.
Yeah, so when you go to edit the content tree, you just see the list, and well, that's the definition. We can predefine it from the recipe, and each module can add their own thing if they don't want to hard code it. That will be even better. This way we can change everything, remove some stuff.
Could we change the menu items based on roles? User roles?
And that's something I was just thinking. We should probably also in each preset have the list of permissions that you require to be able to see that.
Yeah. Because then some users could add just some content, and you just display what they can do, instead of having a menu that shows it and returns a permission-ish error or something.
But that's part of the result that you give from a preset can have already permissions, the same way we do in every node here. That's already the case. What we could add is a configurable permission, so you can restrict even more. Like when you add a link menu item, you could say only for editors. Okay, you could do that. But it's specific per preset, so that's fine. It's just something that we should be able to reuse, but a preset could also have a list of roles and apply them. I will help you for that. That's fine. That's good. Yep.
My main concern, sorry, my main concern now is that I think that maybe everything here is going to be crowded here.
To be what? Sorry.
I don't know the word. Too many things in a very small.
Crowded.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but not our problem. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I mentioned that maybe once we have too many items, we might redesign the menu to make it smaller. Let's see. We know it's a big one, but yeah, I'm fine with that. As long as they're a hierarchy, we can organize it as a hierarchy, and yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
That's cool. That's very good. That's more than what I was expecting. You said there was nothing to show. Man, that's a lot of things to show, and that's good. I like it. You made the most difficult part, so now it's just about having the good presets and removing stuff. Awesome.
Navigation is going to be difficult, I think.
But you don't need to have everything open at the same time. And also, as we said, we could have an option that when you expand the menu item, then it collapses the other ones, and then that's.
But I mean this one.
This one? Oh, the menu.
Yeah.
Oh, I see this menu. This will be hard to implement, I know, because they have different types of menu items. I understand. Maybe we can just handle the link menu items, and that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, we might special case it for the link menu items, because that's what we should show in the navigation. Or maybe the menu items themselves should be able to provide the equivalent of the admin menu, so that when we render it, it can render as an admin menu. So we'll see. I'm sure we can. I can help you on that. Should be fine. But that's super useful to be able to navigate the menu itself from the admin, because that's what people want most of the time. So to be able to click on the home page, to be able to click on the about page directly from the navigation and the subtype, not to have to find what content items is the about page. So that's good. I like it. Perfect. Okay. So create a branch. You have access to the main repo, and then we can iterate on that. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you very much. James, do you have any update? You shared something with me, but I don't know if you can share it. We can at least talk about what you are doing.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been, so I've needed it for a project that I'm working on. So I started implementing the content picker, how we had it in Orchard 1. So I haven't started on the UI yet. I'm just adding like, I'm just using input, like, storing an array of content item IDs, and then I just have like a text input for that right now. And I have that working, and I'm at the point now of trying to just decide what the default editor experience should be like. And for my own needs, what I really need is like an autocomplete, for like a search like a list of content items by title. I'm not thinking that's probably not the default experience that we want, because it can rely on like a Lucene index, things like that being there. So kind of in Orchard 1, we're just have like a list of content items, and I think it's like a checkbox, select which ones. So maybe I'll do that.
Okay. Do you have an issue that you are following, or that it is implementing? I have found one. This one I don't know.
Yeah, so I looked at that issue. I haven't updated it yet. You know, I've just been pushing my own.
Oh, someone is sharing the link. Content tree. Okay, that's nothing to do with that. And yeah, because I made some. So this guy, Arash Saleh, made some comments which were interesting. He copy pasted them here. And I mentioned index relationship to be able to query it both ways.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's okay. Well, this can be done later if we need. It's just about when we have a relationship, well, a reference, then we can find which are reference and which are referencing. And if we do it correctly, it will be in a table that will be super fast to query, and it can be super useful for custom. So yeah, okay. That's what is this thing? Content fields, yeah. Okay, that's good. I'm happy that you have started to work on that.
Cool, yeah.
Thank you. Let us know. Same thing if you want to create a PR as soon as you can. If you have some code, then we can see how it's progressing and we can comment, or if you have questions.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I guess I could. I mean, I could even create a PR now with just like put a not ready tag on it.
Yeah. And I get the main problem is how to find content items. How do you search for them and select them?
Yeah.
It's
search.
kind
of like I wanted to, and I thought about using queries, but then I don't know that we really want a module to like add to be kind of relying on a query to be there. I don't know.
But same thing for Lucene. You require Lucene to be there to search.
Yeah, exactly.
So the best thing is SQL, but is it or is it just the main content items view where you can filter by type and order and but you need to be able to search. And then if you search,
I'm thinking maybe like the default, would be that, and it'd be easy to implement, like for my own purposes. For instance, I could add a custom editor, a field editor that's just does a completely different thing. So like it'll be easy from that standpoint to customize it.
We can do something different. I have an idea. I think it's the best idea so far. The idea will be that you just display a list of search results. Okay. But we have content picker search results providers. And by default, we just list all the content items. This is one provider, list all content items provided. But then if you type something in a text box, you ask all the providers, oh, give me something related to that. And then there could be a content type provider that will search by the type that you typed. If you type like blog, the content type provider will be like, okay, let me search for a type called blog, and it finds the content item for that with a score. And then you could have a Lucene query provider because the Lucene module will be enabled, and then the Lucene query will have the blog and say, okay, let's search for blog in all the titles and the body and everything, and it will return also some scored things. So this way we don't link content item with the content type picker with Lucene. We just say anyone can provide results for this thing, so we just have to provide a text box in the editor. And then we break the dependency, and that solves the issue. And if we want a title part provider, we can. If we want any kind of provider, we can do that. And I think that will be better.
Yeah, I like that.
And we can even disable them if we don't like them. Yeah,
sure.
They can be features. And yeah, I think that will be a good solution. And that's not hard to implement. Just a high content picker
result provider or something.
Yeah. And you just need to return a score, because we might want to say that Lucene is always better result than content type picker provider. Yeah, and page results also may be interesting. We have to look at, that will be interesting. Yeah, the score will fix the paging stuff. Try that. That I think that will solve this issue of the picker depending on something else.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll go down that route.
Good, thank you. That should be easier. Thanks very much. Let us know when it's done. We want it. Super important.
Sure.
Great, thanks. Okay. Anyone has other questions? Topics, meetings? So the meeting last Friday was about creating a theme, the project, and the content, and I think it went well. Who was there? Antoine was there. Jasmin was there?
Yep.
I think it was nice. We didn't see much details about like how to pick a part from the shape zones, how to remove a part from the shape zones. So we saw really low level specific templates, like making the full template for a content type, not reusing part shapes and things like this. But that was nice. And this Friday I wanted to do the razor page scenario, where we have the site split in the CMS part to edit the content and the front-end part that you build yourself with razor pages to grab the content and render it. So we don't use the CMS controllers to render the content and the theming to render the content. I mean, the templates. We create our own views to render and pages to render them. That should be a nice one. If it works. I haven't tried it. We'll see on Friday if it works. I'm not even sure. So, and then we'll make and we'll create a real site for that. We can reuse a theme that exists already, and or we can make something completely new with our own layout, a new web app completely. That would be nice. Okay, that's the goal. Questions about that, or about anything we talked about today?
I would like to make one announcement about DotNest. I hope you everyone know DotNest, that DotNest has been around for a while and has changed a lot. And this time at Long Week, we asked you to tell your opinion directly about what would you like to change to make DotNest the best developer-focused orchard hosting platform. So if you have 5 minutes, would you please fill out our form to make us .NEST be the best platform in Orchard.
Support Orchard Core. Where is the checkbox support Orchard Core? Okay. Thank you for the announcement.
Thank you.
I will file it, but I'm biased. I don't know this thing, forms.office.com. Interesting.
I will know that.
Okay, good. Thanks everyone. See you on Thursday for the triage, Friday for the demo, or next Tuesday. Bye bye.